Full bush.
Full bush in a bikini.
Remember when I looked over at your...
I'll actually never forget till the day that I die.
Should we tell them about that?
Well,
or should we start the episode? But I
feel
do
like it
want to tell
started.
them about... Oh, good.
Right? Well, I always have an ongoing notes app and there's no theme, rhyme, or reason. And once Mom was like looking at my phone and one of the many bullet points said full bush in a bikini ginger edition. And she's like, what is, and I'm like, of course, of all the bullet points, that's the one.
Well, you
have to
actually
see.
quickly swiped away and like started doing something else, and I let it sit for a minute, and I was like, okay, I'm
I
not
have
going to
to
bring it
know.
up, and then I was like, I have to know.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Not bring it up?
Right. You're going to go to sleep at night being like, what is the full bush in a bikini ginger edition?
And what was it?
There was like a full bush in a bikini trend on TikTok. So
Not
I was
on
gonna make my
my-
own version. Oh, not on
Mhm.
yours.
Not on mine. This is like the
Interesting.
time we were watching the Olympics. And
Yeah.
on my For You page, it was the guy whose
With the
crotch
pole.
got stuck over the pole.
Yeah.
And for you, it was the
little teeny tiny.
bikinis.
Real ones remember.
When did we talk about that? Like,
A silly episode because the little caps one.
I love the little caps
Has
episode.
anyone watched every episode? I want to know.
I really
there
want
has
to
to be
know.
one person that's actually watched every episode
Well, we
other than
have.
us. We love them all. Well,
know.
actually, that's not true.
Not true.
Some of them we scrapped. You guys don't even know. It's been rough.
Hmm. Well, to start the episode, can I say something?
Say something.
So we asked the kissers, what do you guys need advice on?
Yeah, we're feeling a little giving.
I would say 70% of the kissers in a horrid, down bad situationship.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, by the way, I've been in a situationship for 4 years.
Yeah.
Some of them long distance. God,
That sucks. Guys, that sucks.
and like, what do we have advice for them?
I mean, like, yeah, a little bit.
What is your advice for them? Like, as a general,
well,
I'm
this
not
is
even...
Okay, here's the thing, guys. We're gonna start being like very honest and transparent.
And tough love, because
Tough
sometimes with me,
love.
the only things that have worked are tough love.
don't get mad and don't cancel us. Like, oh my god, please. I'm just being honest, and it's just my opinion. Wait, can I say something? Side note, we meant to
Please.
talk about.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, we got 5 stars on Apple Pods, which, if you know, like, we love a 5-star review. If you want to go make our day, go on over. And then we made an episode where we were like, I hate when people send us gifts. And then this girl went back and changed her 5-star to 1 star and said women can't do anything anymore.
Well, we can't send gifts anymore. That's what I think she said.
And I just want to say, the whole thing about Kiss is that it's our opinion, and our opinion is no better than yours. So if we're giving you advice and you disagree, that's so valid.
Not even advice. We were giving our opinion of like, I
Yeah.
don't like it. And I'll say something else. If I said, I don't like when people send me gifts, I don't think it's hot, and someone still like heard
Like,
that and
doubled
sent me,
down.
been like, they were like, this is me.
Yeah, we're like, well, I think gifts are cool. It's like, wait, that's sexy.
It's hot. It's like, oh, you have your own
like a
thing
opinion,
going, yeah.
and you're like, you stand behind that. So
individuality.
Yeah. So ultimately, like, think for yourself, think critically,
I would love if you disagreed with us respectfully.
respectfully, mind you.
And if that didn't change your love for us. Like, we don't
Yeah.
have to go 5-star to 1 star over one
Sorry,
opinion.
I don't know if I needed to go there, but I just, like, that's been actually, like,
Gnawing
sitting
at
on
you.
me. Like, I needed to get that out. So just know, our opinion is no better than yours. It's just an opinion. That being said, I think at a certain point in a situationship, like, you have to either stand up or just, like, know that that's
This
the
is gonna hurt.
circumstance you've accepted.
Yeah.
You know?
You need to be like, this is hurting so bad, I need to leave. Or this is hurting so bad and it hasn't hurt so bad yet that I'm willing to get up and go away. Like, at some point, it's still net positive till it's not. And we can't tell you when it is that you're going to be like, this is killing me. But you should be able to diagnose when something is killing you.
Well, if you know for a fact going into it that one person doesn't want a relationship and one person does, and you think somehow that's going to change, I don't think it is. I don't know. I feel like I've been in situations where, like, I told someone I don't want a relationship and they were like, I can fix her, and they didn't, and then they got their feelings hurt, and that sucks. But, like, I don't know.
What do you have to say to people who said, my friends are sick and tired of me complaining about my situationship?
I so understand you. Like, I get it. That's hard because I don't know. It's so annoying when it's brain rot and you're like, I can't stop talking about this. That's the worst phase of a situationship. Oh my god.
I do think you need to get it out somehow, so like therapy or journaling.
Journal.
I would hope that you have at least one friend though who is willing to sit with you in the trenches and hear you out,
dissect it from every angle,
because you need that.
You need it. Like, I would have died without you. Like, I had to get it out, and eventually it ended. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. It won't go on forever, I promise, but I think it's normal to get it all out and maybe just acknowledge, like, hey, sorry, I'm beating this to fucking death, but like, I have to.
Yeah. For me, I don't mind hearing it from my friend over and over again unless I'm feeling like it's harming them. Like, if it's like a very abusive situationship, then I'm like, dude, we need to actually do something about this.
Yeah.
But if it's just like, I can't,
I'm sad,
I'm in love with them, it's like, okay, let's listen to them. Let's listen to this, like, why this person is such a manic pixie dream girl
over and over and over again.
And it's fun. I don't mind it.
It sucks to feel that way. Ugh, I feel so bad for everyone that feels that way. Guys, I must say, oh my god, if you've been here from literally episode one, when I talked about August, if you haven't, like, go watch that episode. We were being like shy and babies because it was our first one.
Watching it now, I'm like, oh, these girls had no idea they would get better, which is good.
Thank god. I'm like over it. Like, actually, when do I ever talk? Okay, I talk about it sometimes, but like hardly.
But in a way where you're like, can you believe I'm over it?
Yeah,
because we didn't get over it for a while.
A long time. I'm over it. Like, I go periods of time without thinking about her, which is crazy because it used to actually be one constant thought, always, never ending. And I never, ever, ever thought it would end. I'll never forget one time I cried to you, not because I was sad that she didn't want me back, because I was so sad I couldn't stop thinking about it, remember? And I was like, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. And it went away.
I do think at some point, if you haven't spoken to the person, which you shouldn't when you're trying to get over someone, like, go no contact. Stop going to things you know they're gonna be at.
That's what it is.
Stop accidentally running into them or
stop
their
talking to their
friends.
friends. You really need to out of sight, out of mind in every way.
And then I think it kind of becomes like if you make a copy of a document and then you make a copy of that document and then a copy of that document, you're doing that with memories. And by the end, you're not even remembering how it actually was. You're remembering like such a fake version of it.
Yeah.
And they're so rosy and so manic pixie dream girl by the end. They're not real people. So you have to give yourself something else to like hyperfixate on and think about.
That's what it is.
You have to stop like daydreaming about that person.
Yeah, it was weird for me because like when I actually got over her, sometimes I would catch myself when you're going to bed at night and it's like, what do I think about? And I would just think about her, but not because of her as a person, just because of what she represented to me, like, because I had no one to think about.
And it's the last time you felt close to someone like that. Yeah.
And then you realize like, oh, that's kind of what I've been doing all along. I'm just a little bit more separated from it now. But pick like a celebrity. Anyone is better. Anyone else.
Even an older ex.
Yeah, have your daydreams, like, do what you have to do. Literally an older ex, do it. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay, let's get started because I have so...
Oh my god, wait, we didn't get started yet? Fuck.
That was just more of like a general theme I was sensing.
Okay.
That I was like, oh my god, people are down bad. Okay.
To be fair, like, Mal, like, really is committed to the Kiss community and, like, has done all the screening.
Oh, can I say something else?
Yeah.
Anytime I'm, like, pretty active on the Instagram, okay? Anytime I respond to a DM, they're like, oh my god, love you, Madeline.
Hey everyone.
Hey everyone. So like I'm also part of this.
Guys, there's two of us.
It's every time.
That's so hurtful.
No, it's fine. I'm joking. But like every single, not once have they been like, oh, is this
Mal?
No, never. Not one time. Once I responded,
sorry.
she responded. We were like going back and forth. Me as like Kiss Pod on Instagram, follow us. And then she goes, by the way, loving the bangs. That's when I learned.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. That is so crazy.
No, it's kind of bad because they might think they're talking to you.
Well, going forward now, you know, the chances you're talking to me 0.05%.
Chances you're talking to me high.
Very high. Also, like, while we're on the subject of like not the advice yet, I have to introduce you to someone. Rupert. If you're watching, there's a new frog in the building. His name is Rupert, and I think he might be a toad.
He's also a heating pad.
Shout out to my mom. This was a Christmas gift. Yeah, I don't know. Like, how do we feel about Rupert as a community? Like, let us know. That's all.
Okay, this one This was the perfect length of DM, by the way. Congratulations to her. I went to university. I'm English. Fresh out of a long-term relationship that I got into when I was 17 to 19, pivotal years. I went absolutely wild, made some very poor decisions, doubled my body count, and I think I was trying to play a character that I'm not. Now everyone has this perception of me as a massive slag. Love that
Love
term.
the word slag.
I can't face going out at uni anymore because I feel like everyone expects it of me and I'm not the crazy party girl. Do you have any advice for breaking down these opinions other people have towards you? I have more fun when I'm at home by myself, but I feel guilt and shame and embarrassment if I don't go out. Is there any way of accepting this, or do I have to wait till I'm mature? LOL. Oh my god, this broke my little heart because women are put in such boxes. You have to be the funny girl or the smart girl or the party girl. And you feel like once someone puts you in that is your identity because that is what people know you as. I think she expressed it so well.
So it's like, what is it called? The Madonna horror complex. It's literally, it's so sad. That resonates with me so much.
Tell me what you feel.
Well, I have like a mini story time, but I would hate to like take up so much time, but you know that I could. I won't make it long.
I would love for you. No.
I've never told you this before.
Oh my god, no, please. That's why we have the pod.
I swear to God, it'll come back around to the advice
believe
part.
you.
But this is just to like give you my credentials of how I understand. So when I was in high school, I for some reason, how did I get here as a person? I guess I was bullied and I didn't have friends. And when I started growing boobs, I kind of got male attention. So I decided to like really utilize that. And I just wanted male validation really bad. And I decided that I would like pretend to be a slut. I don't want to say slut. That's like not the right word. Like sexually active. Like I was like fully making up stories and lying. Like fully lying. I was a virgin and I was telling everyone that I was having so much sex.
This is so funny.
Like actually, like I'm being so dead. There was this one boy who I was so in love with. I was so in love with this boy in my high school. I don't know why. He was like very feminine and he was on Tumblr and he was so fashionable, and it was more so like I wanted his approval. It wasn't really about like liking him. It was about like I wanted to be cool enough for him because I thought he was so cool. I remember I spent months of my life, I went through every single like on his Tumblr. You know how you used to be able to see people's likes?
And then you could mold yourself to what you think they are into.
And he was so like obsessed with girls and very outward about like very specific things he wanted in a girl. And it was also like he was reblogging like the porn gifs and all of it, and I was like, I need to be that. So I would like sext him these long texts that were completely made up about stories of my life and how I love doing this to
like
people.
Out of the blue.
Yeah, we talked every day all day. Oh my god, what's crazy about it is we texted every day all day at school, completely ignored each other. I think he acknowledged me at school maybe one time. It was really normal people vibes.
Yeah.
I never put that together. Like literally never talked at school.
Oh, awesome.
But sexted all day and all night.
And I'm sure that was so good for your self-esteem.
It was super good. So and like also to like people at school, like I would just like make up these stories and everyone thought I was very promiscuous. And then I had my first boyfriend and I had to kind of be like, hey, by the way, like I'm a virgin. And I don't know, I remember feeling that exact way where like it feels like you're trapped in this idea that other people have of you, and it's like, well, fuck, like what do I do now? But I think honestly the best way to get out of it is to move on from that location or that group of people. Like I don't know how deep this person is into uni.
And we're loving just saying uni.
I'm loving the whole uni part of this. Like obviously when I left high school that wasn't an issue for me anymore, but I think that you also just have to like let people think what they're gonna think about you.
Totally. Can I say what I was thinking when I first read this? I feel like in high school I was can't stress enough, not a party girl. Don't think I went to a single like party in high school. Okay? Yeah. And I feel like I was always the friend people came to for like deep emotional talks. Like that was like the girl I was, which I was totally fine with. But I wasn't really, no one was ever being like, oh, you know who we should invite to a party? Her. Like that wasn't me.
Yeah.
And then in college I kind of was like, I want to be fun. Like I want to be seen as fun. And I don't think I ever had like the party title, but I remember being like, I'm going to throw events. Like I am going to be a fun girl. And I leaned into it. And then at some point I was like, I'm kind of over this and I want to still be the person people want to come and talk to. And I kind of realized that you just have to do, this sounds so stupid, but I swear you have to just do things. You have to be like, in the moment, what feels good to me? What is my full body saying yes to? Do I want to go to this party? Do I want to stay home tonight even though it's Friday? Do I want to go watch a movie with my friend? Like, what do I want to do? And people are going to try to put you in a box. They're going to do whatever mental gymnastics they need to do to make sense of you and understand you, and either put you on a pedestal or put you down on the ground. Like, they are going to do whatever they're going to do in their heads, no matter what you do. So you might as well be living your life.
Exactly.
Having fun.
Exactly.
And you're going to grow. You're so young. Like, you're going to keep growing. Every year, you're going to be a completely different person.
Yeah.
Everyone looks back on themselves like 1 year ago and they're like, oh, I was different then than I am now. And that's normal.
That's good. You're growing. And I also think it's such a normal part of growing up to like test versions of yourself.
Yes.
I don't think there's this magical like, and then I became who I'm meant to be. I think you kind of have to find out. Like, I think it's totally normal to go through phases of like, maybe I am a partier, maybe I'm like with the fucking improv kids. Like, you have to like find out. And I think that's totally normal. And everyone will eventually get to a point where they realize that everyone goes through phases.
Maybe Friday night you're at a rave and Saturday night you're sitting at home journaling.
Yeah.
And maybe they're not even like month-long phases. Maybe
you're allowed to be nuanced.
And I think you're going to like make so many more friends that way.
Yeah. And you're going to feel more authentic ultimately because now you know. You know?
As long as you feel good about what you're doing. And I think that's why like Taylor Swift's Mirrorball resonates with so many people, because I think people feel like, who am I really? And it's like, you can be a bunch of different kinds of people.
Yeah.
And that's totally okay.
Yeah. I totally get that. I hate that feeling of like, everyone thinks I'm this certain person and now I have to uphold that forever. But just know that like you don't, and people are going to think what they're going to think about you regardless of how you act.
Yeah. And the more multifaceted you are, the cooler you are.
And it's easier said than done, obviously.
Of course.
But like with time, you'll be like, oh, everyone has went through phases, and also everyone has like multiple sides to themselves.
And one day at like 30, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I was 17 and I did a bunch of this stuff and I learned all these things, and maybe if I could talk to that girl I would tell her to not do some of those things. But we've all made mistakes, and we've all been like, I kind of regret that year of my life. I think that's fine.
Yeah, that's so normal. I think it's so normal. I think everyone that can't like move, like let you be more than one thing, like they're the problem.
Yeah. Beautiful.
That's all. Hope that helps.
Okay, this one very much for you.
Okay.
I am very, very super happy in my relationship with my boyfriend. I want to marry him and have kids and all of that. But also, I'm bi and I've never even kissed a girl, and I'm desperate to. I don't know what to do.
That sucks. I've been there. Didn't end well for me. Not to say it won't for you. I just think, I don't know. Personally, what I did, I know I keep answering these with what I did, but like maybe like learn from what I did.
I think that's a very fair way to answer them. Yeah.
I decided to open my relationship with my boyfriend so that I could experiment with girls. And I don't know that that's the best reason to open a relationship. Like, I'm personally not a polyamorous person to my core. So I don't...
You're a lover girl.
I'm a lover girl and I'm a monogamy girl. And I can't, like, speak for that community. But for me, I don't think that was the right reason. And it just got so messy. And I was catching feelings. And then it's weird. And so maybe don't do that. Unless you guys, like, I don't know the state of your relationship. Maybe that's something you would both be into. I think it just, like, goes to your comfort level. But unfortunately, like, the tough love in me is, like, I don't think that's ever gonna go away. That feeling.
The good luck babe.
It's the good luck babe of it all.
Can I ask some questions? Do you want to marry him and have kids with him because you love your partnership and the life you've built together? Or do you also love kissing him? Like, do you love that as well? True. And I will say, like, people who are straight, people who don't fantasize about the other gender, also, I think, have a level of, like, oh my God, I'm not going to kiss anyone ever again. So is it that, or is it like, no, I want a woman? Like, I want to really feel like what that's like. And is it one woman in particular? Or is it just sort of like, there is this part of myself that I haven't fully explored and excavated yet, and I will regret forever if I don't? Like, because I think all of these things, maybe like sit down, journal, figure that out, and I think that might give you a lot of guidance. I don't know, maybe this is not my place to.
No, that's such, like, so true. I don't know, it's so hard because I don't think that'll ever go away, and I think what's meant to be will be. And maybe if you like if you and this man are really meant to be and you need to take some time for yourself and experiment, maybe you'll come back to each other. But I don't know, like, just personally, I've been there and I had to do what I had to do, and like, that person is still someone I, like, really love and care for, and I don't regret how I went about that. I think I needed to, and I think I would have been really, really deeply sad on the inside if I never got to experience, like, acting on my queerness, because your queerness is still valid if you've, like, never experimented, like. So I don't know, there's so many I wish we could, like, sit down with these people and ask questions.
I know,
but yeah, I don't know if that really helps at all.
This was also a very common theme of, like, I'm with a man and I'm
like curious, or I'm I don't know, that's so hard.
That feels so hard.
It's so hard. Also because, like, I think the difference between being bi and being, like, a lesbian, and I don't know.
These are also questions I think that are, like, permanent not struggles, but permanent question marks for a lot of people.
That's true. Yeah.
I know people, like, well into their late 20s who are like, I don't know if I'm bi or lesbian.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I'm like, yeah, like, I feel like I would have thought I was bi forever if I never experimented. So I don't know. It's really hard. I feel like I said nothing good.
No, I think, but, like, at least I hope that was validating. That you're in a really tough position.
And you're not alone. So many people feel that way. So many
kissers wrote in with this exact
situation. And it's so hard, and, like, will eat you alive. I've been there. Like, it fucking sucks really bad, and I know it sucks to hurt another person, and it feels selfish, and that sucks. Like, I felt like I couldn't live with myself, but if someone really loves you, they will want what's best for you as well. You know, and if you really love them, they deserve someone who for sure wants to be with them and only them forever. Totally. If that's where you guys are at. You know,
I had a friend who was kind of in this spot, and I think for her, what really did it was she was like, I realized I just wanted a, like, fairy tale life with this man and a partnership more than I wanted to, like, wake up and give him a kiss in the morning, right? Like, I loved him as my best friend. So I think that's also
because it's like, does it come from, like, a scarcity mindset of, like, well, I have this good situation, if I mess it up, what if then I won't have someone in the future to marry and have kids with, kind of thing? Because I don't think that's the right reason, even though I get it. Trust me. I get that thought process,
and there's no shame here, like,
at all. Like, no,
not at all.
I'm looking in a mirror, like, that is, I get it. I just there's a lot to unpack. Therapy would be great. Therapy really helped me in that situation. Okay. Sorry, good luck, babe.
Good. You want to sing?
You could kiss 100 boys in bars.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Hi, love you guys. Love you too. I was wondering if you guys have any advice on when it comes to choosing a life path. In my case, I have a lot of passions that I have a hard time choosing from, some more quote-unquote risky than others. Any advice on how to distinguish what will actually be good for me? I have, this is some of the stuff I think about, like, on a day-to-day basis, so this is, like, my bread and butter, and I have so many thoughts. Do you have things?
Well, I feel bad if you have so many. You go.
Okay. I felt like my entire life I was being pulled in 100 different directions, and I had so many passions. There's so many things I wanted
so many things,
like, pursue. And something that really helped me and brought me a lot of solace was that life is not linear. Life is modular. Like, it's not like, okay, if I have this job, then I would have to get a promotion in this exact field, and I'm going to be stuck doing that for the next 50 years of my life. Like, you can spend 5 years in one field and be like, I've kind of explored this to its fullest capacity, and I want to pivot, and I want to start completely from scratch, or I want to go back to school, or whatever you need to do. And you talk about risk here, so I will say there's a lot of privilege that comes with being able to take a risk. And, like, I graduated college with no student loans, thank you to my parents, so I could go to like I could get a PhD. Like all of those things really matter when you're thinking about risk. So I would also look at your financial situation because it is really scary to be in a place where you're like, I can't afford to live. Like, I feel like that's a really good starting point. Figure that out. And I also would say, like, your first job out of college, I get so many DMs about this, and like your first job out of college does not need to be what you are supremely passionate about.
Yeah.
It can just be a job. Like, we in America put so much pressure on your job, and like your profession is so tied to your identity, which is just not true. Like, I don't like to go to a party and ask people like, oh, what do you do? Because that doesn't give me information about someone.
Yeah, agree.
I want to know, like, what do you do for fun? What
are you excited about? Yeah, I completely agree.
So try not to like intertwine your passion and your profession if that stresses you out, your profession and your identity if that stresses you out.
You don't have to like commodify your hobbies. You can also just have hobbies that are like your passion in your life and just work to make money. Like, work doesn't need to be like your life force.
Yeah, if you feel like a hobby is risky, it can still just be a hobby. And sometimes that makes it more fun and less stressful. We
Look
know
at us
with the pod, we know like
this is a hobby.
Yeah. So I think that's some of my like baseline stuff. I could really talk about this for hours, so I'm gonna try to keep it in.
Well, no, I love it. Something I would say is on the topic of risk, and this is like kind of counter to your advice and maybe not good advice, but when I was growing up, something my mom always told me, because like I don't come from a lot of money, so I felt like it was indulgent of me to be pursuing something that was so uncertain when I could be like going to school for a more like legitimate thing and like have like more of a quote unquote like guaranteed like stable future and income. And my mom would always tell me this Jim Carrey quote, which I'm gonna butcher, I don't know it like verbatim, but it was like, his dad was so worried about taking risks and doing what he loved that he became an accountant, and he spent his whole life in accounting, and then he just got laid off and they had no money. And like, you can fail at something you don't want to do also. So why not like follow? I'm a big like follow your dreams
you really
girl,
are,
because like I did it, and like I was also kind of I'm not a big no plan B girl. That's not true. Like, I got a degree and stuff, but like I like really believed in the possibility of like these things but paying my bills and like being like part of my life, and I made that happen, and there is a lot of privilege to that, and I don't think that has to be the case. I don't think money has to be like what you like tie your identity to, but I also think if it's something you really believe in and you really want to do and you want to like maybe make a living off of it, I don't think you should let risk scare you away from at least trying. You know?
And I was thinking so much recently about like, you also have to know yourself and how risk averse you are and how much anxiety risk will bring you. Because some people can really like do the metaphorical like jump off a cliff and hopefully the parachute opens. I know about myself that I'm not like that. I'm gonna check the parachute like 200 times. I know about you, you're gonna check it 200 times. Like, we are both very risk averse. So I know about you, you're gonna have a plan B, a plan C, a plan D.
And that's also kind of where believing in yourself comes in though, because to me it didn't even feel like a risk, because I was like, oh, I can do this. Like, I can do it. So like it's just like balancing like all of those things inside of yourself and really knowing yourself in that way, because you don't want to be miserable taking this risk to follow your dreams, but then you're still end up miserable. You know what I mean?
The other most common DM we got after situationships was about best friend breakups, and they varied in length, they varied in the details, but the sentiment was the same of like, I thought this person was going to be in my life forever. I thought they were going to be the maid of honor at my wedding, and now we don't talk anymore. And like, these were the most hard, honestly, more than the situationship ones, because I know everyone will be fine. Like, in the situationship, it's going to suck. You will get over it. And that's not me being like patronizing or anything.
No, that's just a fact.
It's just a fact. The best friend breakup,
that sucks.
It's like, you probably, here's the thing, won't get over it. Like,
it's hard because you haven't been through a bunch of...
I've been through like distancing, but I haven't had like a one day we just don't talk anymore. And the distancing was very gradual, and it was just like we went in different directions in life.
And you were both, it was mutual?
I don't know if it was mutual, but it was
necessary.
There are people I still think of often, and I love seeing when they post on Instagram. It doesn't hurt, I guess, is what I'm saying. I will think of them forever, but it doesn't sting. I think that kind of breakup where it stings,
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I have went through all different kinds of friendship breakups. Like some like more recently in my life were like pretty bad. Like they ended not well. Like we are not on good terms at all, and it sucks and it makes me sad. And like I'll go through my camera roll, or it'll be someone's birthday or whatever, and I'm like sad, and I'm reminded of things, and like I don't know that there's any good advice you can give, because some things maybe just like were meant to be, not meant to last. I don't know. It's like sad, and I think the details matter, because like it depends if it's mutual or not. Like that's such a big thing.
A lot of people who wrote in, it wasn't mutual,
and it was the friend who kind of distanced themselves. And I think in that case you have to just know that like there is someone in your future who like will want to be your friend and will respect you and love you and want to be there for you. And I don't think it means that other person doesn't love or respect you. I think
I also say like maybe, again, not to sound patronizing, but maybe they were trying to figure themselves out.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people now in their 20s are like reconnecting with childhood friends who they maybe lost touch with, and the friend is like, I was just like going through something, I was figuring something out about myself. I was struggling. And like some of these DMs broke my heart, because it was like my best friend ghosted me, and it's like, oh
my God,
that is either they're going through something horrible, or they if someone didn't treat you with the like warmth of even being like, hey, I'm not doing well, or I need space, like that is not your best friend.
And there is someone, I don't know, I think maybe when you go through a friendship breakup, it's easy to be like, and I'm never gonna make a friend again, which I think also happens in romantic relationships. Like I think that's just where our brains like jump. But it's not true. You will make so many friends in adulthood. You will make friends. You like, there are so many friends waiting for you in the future, whether or not you have a best friend right now. Like pinky promise. Truly, I think that helps. But it does suck, and also just like have compassion for yourself. Like know that it sucks. No, you're allowed to be sad, and upset and angry at them. Like the stages of grief. Like grief is so shitty, and we can grieve people that are not dead. You know.
And like, you'll think of them often, and you'll be like, oh, I wonder what they're up to.
And it won't hurt so bad anymore. One day, my therapist is always like, one day it'll be like a scar and not an open wound. Like one day you'll look at it and be like, oh yeah, that sucked. And it won't be like, ow, this hurts me so bad, I'm gonna cry. Yeah. You know?
And I would even try to think, like, some stuff is gonna happen that you're gonna be like, oh, I wish I could text them about this.
That's the worst. And
maybe like journal or text someone else, or like explain that part of your life that only they understood to someone else. You know, like maybe make room in your life for another relationship like that. Which is more reciprocal.
And I don't think I always believe in the concept of closure necessarily, but I think like, let's say your best friend ghosted you, if it would make you feel better to just send one final text that was like, hey, this relationship meant so much to me and I really love you, and like I'm really hurt that this happened, but if that's what you're choosing to do, like just know that like I'm hurt and I really loved you. Like whatever you have to do to kind of just like be like, I did all that I could do. Like I got it out of my system.
Are you gonna cry?
I know, it made me really sad. I didn't do that to certain people, which maybe I should have.
Do you think that would have helped?
I hate ending on bad terms with people as a person. I think that sucks. But also sometimes it's kind of easier to get over it. If you can make them the villain and let them make you the villain. You know? I don't know, guys. That sucks.
I'm not a huge believer in closure with like situationships, but I am one with friends, because friends know you like much more intimately, and you can have multiple, so it feels almost like, why don't you want me?
What about me? Yeah, that's so hard. I'm so sorry to everyone that's happening to.
I know.
And you're not alone. There's so many of you.
We should almost make a support
group chat. Yeah, truly.
Okay.
That would be fun.
Should we do that?
Like a Discord?
Yeah. Of everyone like going through a best friend breakup. Or everyone just like in a situationship.
Yeah.
No, it's like all the kissers in the whole thing, and then you can opt into different channels depending on what you're going through.
Yeah. Wait.
That's kind of
if someone wants to help us like administrate
make that happen,
that could be huge.
Like moderate. Yeah. I could moderate.
You know, you have enough on your plate.
Okay. Another one for you. I'm wondering, how do you know as a queer woman whether the feelings for your best friend are platonic or not? And I
we
was
kind of
thinking about-
answered this.
Yeah, should we not do this
No,
one?
what were you gonna say? You were thinking about...
I was thinking about how you were like, friendship can be romantic.
I do think friendship's romantic. I mean, what you said was, do you want to kiss your friend?
Do you want to munch box?
Do you want to munch box? If you want to punch box, your answer is right there in front of you.
That's like usually
That's kind of
what
it.
I'm asking people.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
next.
Sorry, like, that's honestly, like...
Oh, I unfortunately do think she's 15, so maybe we keep it at kissing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. That was my bad. Advice for accepting and being okay with no longer looking like the smallest version of myself and comparing myself to old videos and pictures of her.
That's so hard. All of these things, I relate. I understand.
Even the phrasing like smallest version of myself, like, do you want to be the smallest version of yourself? And how did you
feel?
How did you feel
truly?
at the time? Like, were you happy? Were you fulfilled? Were you being creative?
Full?
Were you full? Were you like able to get through the day? Were your friendships the best? Were you like working hard?
That's such a hard thing because I'm still not there myself. Like, I get it. It's hard. I don't really have an answer. Maybe watch The Substance or our episode about it. And just, yeah, honestly, like, that whole messaging that, like, it sucks so much time. Time is, like, the one resource that is not renewable. Like, you really aren't going to get it back. Like, do you want to look back on your teenage years, 20s, 30s, whatever, and be like, oh, yeah, and that day I didn't do anything because I felt bad about the way that my body looked.
Yeah, I think, like, in 10 years, I promise you're going to look back on the years that you were the smallest version of yourself or with an eating disorder or just like staring at the mirror, hating yourself and be like, oh my God, I looked great. I wish I went out, made friends, took classes, learned ceramics, wrote poetry, read books, partied with my friends, went out to drink, tried that new pizza. Like, I think for me, the best parts of my life are around food, are around people, are around all of that stuff. And it's like a lot of times when I think back to my happiest memories, I don't even remember how I look. And I remember the people I was with or how much I laughed or like this inside joke me and my girlfriend had or what my dad and mom were eating and like what my mom made for dinner or stuff like that. So I think I tried to focus on different memories and try not to look at photos of yourself or others that could be triggering. Like, don't go through old photos of yourself.
That's true. I do that. And it's
Stop going through your Instagram Explore page if it's full of people that make you feel bad about yourself. Like, we are in control of our social media. They do not run us. We run them. Like, you have to be like, if this is not working for me, this is my tough love spiel. If this is not working for you, delete the app. If it's not working for you, mute the account.
Mute them.
Like, we have all these features. We need to make our own lives happy. We need to like give ourselves, like, we have the tools. We need to give ourselves the space to stop thinking about our bodies.
And on that topic, what I was gonna say, my advice is that's like positive and helped me is following people who look like you now that you think are hot.
Yeah.
Like, I promise there is someone. I promise. And it will actually make you feel better.
Yeah,
like,
people that you're like, that person is so hot and they have a body type similar to yours.
That will actually do fucking wonders, I promise you. And just like lean into that and also know that like it's so corny, but genuinely confidence makes people hot.
Yeah.
Like, being hot is like so much, it's like an energy. It is more than a physical thing. Like, if you're like caught up on like wanting to look like quote unquote the best version of yourself, like, know that can, it's so corny, but it really can come from your mindset.
Yeah.
And if you're like nourishing your body and like laughing and like reading books and like having friends and doing all these things and like loving yourself, even though it's so hard, I feel like you would look back on those photos one day and be like, oh my God, I love that girl. You know?
And I loved that day. That day was so fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope that helps.
Yeah, and so
but
sorry
also,
you
this
feel
is
that
a
way.
horrible feeling, and we get it.
Yeah, and have compassion for yourself. That's so normal also. All of these. It's like...
And another thing is maybe at that time you were super happy, and you are just comparing yourself to you at like 14 pre-puberty. Yeah. And it's like, our bodies are supposed to change.
Our bodies are supposed to change, and they're going to change.
And then no one ever told me about the second puberty you have again in your 20s. Like, my hips are expanding. Like, you also just could be comparing your body to a version of yourself that is like...
impossible.
Is a child.
A child.
Dare I say a child.
A child.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like a lot of women go through that as well, where you grow up and you're like, wait, why don't I look 15 anymore? Because your body is preparing to make a human.
Like the Eliza McLam Substack essay where she was like, I was looking at a girl's legs in the airport and then she stood up and I realized she was 8 years old.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so we should probably and that it was such a vulnerable and raw and beautifully written essay.
And that's a society problem. Like, we are, the beauty standards put on women are those of a 8-year-old girl, dare I say.
Like, you were not going to look the same way you did at 19.
No.
And
that's okay. Thank God. That's
thank
good.
God.
That's good, and that's fine. Yeah.
Next. One of my best friends is dating a guy that doesn't treat her very well and has expressed multiple times that he would like to break up, but she keeps convincing him to stay. I am also good friends with this guy, though. Any advice on how I can nicely tell her to let him go and that he isn't a good boyfriend, but also not to insult either of them?
I don't think you can. I don't think it's your place. Not even that it's not your place. I don't think it will work. Some people just have to fuck around and find out, unfortunately.
And no one really does stuff because other people want them to. Think about how hard it is to change yourself. It is so much harder to change someone else.
Yeah. And imagine if you changed yourself for someone else. I feel like you would ultimately resent them, even if it was in your best interest. And that sucks because it is hard to see your friend hurting. And I think it's different if it's like abusive or like there's like actual harm. I think that's totally different.
Totally.
And in that case, like, obviously, I mean, I don't fully know the ways to step in. I'm sure there's some kind of like website or
I then lean to like telling older people in their life, like tell a parent, tell a sibling, tell someone who has actual like agency.
Yeah, agreed. But if it's just like I just don't personally like the way that they're treated, I think you just have to kind of let them. And if anything, like, you can set the boundary that's like, hey, I don't want to hear about this anymore because I don't support this and it's your life and you could do what you want, but like, I'm sorry, I can't be the person you come to about this anymore.
Yeah, and especially because you know both of them. I think it's so fair to be like, listen, I love both of you as individuals. I don't think you're good for each other.
Yeah.
And if she asks like, what do you think about this, you should tell her, I don't think you're good for each other. And if she doesn't ask, I think you can be the one to be like, hey, by the way, like, I don't really want to hear about this anymore. I think in that case it's so fair to say that.
Yeah, because you can't control other people, but you can control yourself. So like, just go about it with that mindset that's like, okay, then I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to be giving advice that she's not taking, like, but you can't like make her do anything she doesn't want to do, unfortunately. I
know. Wouldn't it be beautiful if we could
just fix everyone?
This one is a long one, but I'm going to kind of summarize it.
Okay.
This girl and this guy dated in high school, dated for 6 years, then moved to different states for college. Eventually, stuff happens. They break up because they're long distance. Then out of the blue, he texts me and says he moved to my city 3 months ago. Basically, her long distance guy is now... They broke up because they were long distance, is now back in her city. I think you have to like go on a date.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
If that's the only reason you broke up is long distance,
that's
if you're both single,
I
don't see the problem. Wait, that's like kind of my dream. Go on the date. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah, I feel like I'm stoked for you. You're about to get back together.
Yeah, wait, that's so exciting.
Okay.
Hope that helps.
Super not pressing, but I'm starting basically an unhinged book club with some coworkers. Ooh. And so far it is staying small and only the people I really like at work, because the goal is to get drunk and read insane romance books. If someone invites someone I may not want to join because work dynamics and things, how do I say no to someone?
I think you need to set the precedent early. Hey guys, hey everyone, this is my book club. Invite only, non-transferable.
Yeah. I think this is dangerous because it's like with your work friends.
That's true. It is like messy a little.
I would even maybe say, no, guys, we're keeping it small. 4 people, done.
Yeah.
Say, don't you guys love how much this is a 4-person book club?
We would do that. Hey guys, don't you love how it's only us here right now and no one else?
Yeah. Like, I think you have to be like, this is it.
Make it clear early. You don't want to be in a situation where someone invited someone and then you have to be like, oh, and by the way, no, they can't come. Do it early.
Or like one person invites someone you like, one person invites someone you didn't. You have to do day one. This is the rules. Isn't
it so beautiful? You're in charge of the book club.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you have it all figured out.
You have so much power.
Yeah.
Just tell everyone. Sorry.
That's also my dream. Having the power.
Oh my god, this is my book club.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we feel about this podcast.
Yeah. It's perfect. Okay.
Are these like helping anyone, these answers?
I don't know. Like, please let us know.
Yeah. If we're like offending you, like, sorry, we won't ever do an advice episode again.
How to figure out if you're really attracted to men or if it's just compet, please.
Do you know for sure you're attracted to girls and you're like questioning men? That's how I feel, so I can't help you. But I haven't kissed a man in years, so if I really wanted to go figure that out, I'd probably go kiss a man.
You did have that one time we went to a party where men were like being really nice to us.
Yeah.
And then you came home and turned men on your Hinge.
Also, remember when we were in San Francisco and I kept saying, yeah, and when I have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
That was weird.
We were also around men. I think when you're around men, you just something happens to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're rarely around straight men.
I
so
also like want to fit in, kind of. Like, I'm like, oh, if I had a boyfriend here, it would be so normal. Which is the compet of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Also, maybe this is the advice. Who cares? If you know you like girls and you're like, do I like guys? I don't know. This is me speaking to myself. Like, who fucking cares? If you really meet a man and you're attracted to him, then you can kiss him. Yeah. If not, you don't need to seek it out to prove something to anyone, including yourself.
I really think, like, if labels aren't helpful, drop the labels.
Right.
If labels are helpful, take on the labels.
And know that it's not your fault. Our society is obsessed with boxes and putting people in boxes. And so that voice might be in your head, but like really it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's easier said than done, because trust me, every day I'm like in therapy, like, by the way, am I bi? Am I gay? What's going on? Mm-hmm. And she's like, girl, who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah.
Really, who cares?
And if people ask you, be like, I don't know.
Just experiment.
Yeah. Okay, love.
Help.
Which one of my college friends, parentheses, I love them all, should I decide to roommate with? I found a great place for 2 people. I have lots to say about this. We did an entire episode about roommates, and I feel very passionately about that. And I love living with my friends. And right now, a change since the last episode, I'm living with one of my friends in my friend group. And I will say that I think, especially in college, you think, okay, I love going out with this person, or, you know, this person, I do all the same activities, so we'll make great roommates. And I think that is very false. Mm-hmm. Just because you guys have the same sleep schedule, or you love going out together, or you're taking the same classes, doesn't mean you'll make great roommates. Often, I think it actually works the other way.
Agreed.
I think you want to think about, like, who would you align with? Oh, his little Peter Pan. Who would you align with in terms of expectations? So the person I'm currently living with, I think we have very different sleeping patterns, but I think
Come up. Sorry, we're talking to Theo.
Where did he come from? Hi, baby. The person I'm currently living with, I think we have different lifestyles on a day-to-day basis, but I think we have very similar expectations for how we want the home to feel and be run. And I think that is a big difference. Like, I guess I don't really know what I'm trying to say here.
Oh, I know what you mean.
I just think going into it, I don't think you should choose your best friend or your favorite person in your friend group to live with because you think that'll be the most fun. Often it's the people that when you go over to their place, you're like, oh, I keep a home in the same way. I also am, you know, kind of okay with my room being messy, but not my living room. Or things like that. Or you have complementary skill sets. Like the other person's like, I don't ever do the dishes. I would love to live with someone who does the dishes. I think things like that really work. I would dissuade you from choosing your favorite person in your friend group to live with. I, in fact, think you should choose a friend who you're like, we're friends, but we also have this like almost working relationship. Because in a lot of ways, roommates are like a working relationship and you can get closer as friends through it, but you don't want to choose your best friend and then have that burn and crumble
and be like spending too much time together and then be agree
and like ruin this beautiful thing.
I agree. I think you have to think more logically than like with your feelings. Think with your brain, obviously. But
and I think in this case it becomes quite important to think like, what are our different levels of like functioning and like mental health struggles. I do think if you're someone who struggles with depression, it could be hard to live with someone who also struggles with depression because you guys might spiral together. I think that is like a really true thing that happens. Like if you're both gonna kind of treat the room as a cave, keep the blinds down all day.
Who brings out the best in you? Like maybe like you love someone who loves to party, but like what if you guys live together and then you're always getting drunk every night? Like maybe think about the version of yourself that you are around them and not who they are as a person as well.
Exactly. And if you feel like you love this one friend but they have more depressive tendencies and you don't, I also think that maybe not the best, because then you don't get to support them as a friend because you start to resent them for like how they're treating the room and things like that. And I feel like maybe that's not the most like politically correct advice, but I do think that will save your friendship in the long term.
I agree. I completely agree.
You don't want to resent your friends.
That's the biggest thing.
And go listen to that episode, because no matter how close you are, no matter how much you think, like me and this best friend could never have a fight, set expectations day one on like, how do we want to clean things? Who can we have over? Because it's actually so much harder if like your best friend gets a partner who's always over to be like, hey, I don't want them in the room all the time. It's actually harder to do that with a friend than to do it with like a random roommate.
Yeah, true. You're more equipped to speak on that than me, but I agree.
Just set expectations early.
Boundaries, communicate.
Yeah.
That
was all the questions I had prepaed.
Yay.
And it was a perfect
fun.
50 minutes.
50 minutes. And we
Good
had
job.
a special guest, Thebo, and another special guest, Rupert.
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Do you have
this little
anything
boy.
else to say? Like any closing thoughts?
I hope your biggest takeaway is that you're not alone in anything.
Yes.
And sometimes that really helps, honestly.
Yeah.
Like when I was like dating a man and I was like, am I gay? I felt like the only person in the world who had ever felt that way. You're not, you know?
And a lot of these, if I didn't choose yours,
That specific one, it would have been another.
because there were so many.
Yeah. So we're loving this community.
And if anyone is like excited about this Discord situation, let us know.
We would actually make it happen.
Right? I think that would be kind of fun.
Yeah. And then you guys could like help us with like episode topics. You know, we're always looking for feedback.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, cool. Wow, that was fun.
Yay.
Yay.
1, 2, 3.
Mwah.